sure that you're alright. We all know where we stand. I'll be the one there holding your hand. Because we're fireflies in the night sky. Take me back home. Help to remind me all that's worth living for. But dreams are getting bigger. Watch them as they grow. They help to remember who I was
It's 5 p.m., ladies and gentlemen, Pacific Standard Time. My name is Longevity John. I'm your host for yet another fantastic live broadcast from the Duncan Showroom, nestled in wonderful downtown Duncan. Yes, this is a thing that we've been doing for the last 4 or 5 years on a regular basis, and now this pandemic seems to help us out quite a bit because we're real good at what we do. And very fortunate for us, we have some people today that are going to be playing. We have a gentleman that is quite good at what he does. As a matter of fact, I've been smiling here while he was doing a little bit of a sound check. I'm going to have the time of my life today. His name is Jeff Plankenhorn. I'll tell you more about him later, how we met, but he's from Texas. He's now in BC, and he's going to do you a bunch of music for the next hour. If you want to do anything on the chat line, I'll pass on the messages to him. But right now, he's ready to play for you. Please, Jeff, take it away.
Thank you so much, John, and it's so good to be here in BC. I'll take a little bit more of that kick drum if that's okay. I seem to have lost a little. I've been riding, I've been beating the pavement, Oakland to New Orleans. I've been biting, I've been hiding the nails off my fingers, trying to figure out what it means. But the road's been good to me, Lord, you know I can't complain. Yes, the road is all I know, without it I wouldn't be the same. But as I roll on down, flying and defying, my heart stays the same. If I don't get home before the sun, girl, it'd be a crying shame. Well, it's hard and it's a pity when you get what you ask, and it wasn't what you wanted all along. And you wake up and then shake up, and you come to find you've been going about it all wrong. Yes, the road's been good to me, Lord, it's been my teacher and my friend. Yes, the road is all I know. Right now I won't see you again. Here it comes, but it's a long, long way from TX to BC, and I'm counting every single mile. I'm gonna get back to you. We're gonna do the things we do. Can't wait to see you smile. Homecoming, yeah, I'm homecoming. Girl, I'm coming home. I'm homecoming, come on. still anticipating the day I return. When I lay down my boots right next to my roots, Lord, I've been feeling love burn. Homecoming, yeah, I'm homecoming. Girl, coming home. I'm homecoming. But the road's been good to me. Getting home. Yes, the road is all I know, I know. I like it down there. But the road's been good to me. Yes, the road is all I know. Oh, thank you, everybody out there and our audience. Thank you, Marcia. We are correctly and healthily socially distancing in the club. Everybody is very, very much more than 2 meters apart, and even though I am Merkin, I know what that means. My wife is from Campbell River, BC, and I was lucky enough to come back and to come down and play my first gig here at the Duncan Showroom last summer, I guess it was. And I had such a great time immediately that the idea of coming and doing something and try and help keep the doors open at this incredible club meant a lot to me. And I just hit it off with John right from the beginning. And I noticed that, there were people of all ages coming and playing in this great venue, and that there was young bands and songwriters being kind of put up and helped on their journey to begin, and it just felt like the kind of place I wanted to come and play.
I'd like to interject on that just a second.
Please.
There was it was by circumstance that somehow or other you were booked on that Friday, and I had misplaced it. And when you got a hold of me 2 weeks before, I realized that I had just put 3 young bands in.
Oh, yeah.
So I talked to the young kids. I said, well, this is my mistake, but I've listened to it, and I think we should really give them a chance. What do you guys think? And they got together and said, sure, we can set it up. So we had the Porter Brothers, Arbutus Roots, and then you. And then we finished off with Zach Thompson and his band. And that was the interesting part about it, was all these youth had come to see their friends play.
Right.
I'm not saying you're not youthful.
Oh, I'll take it.
Don't get me wrong.
I'll take it.
They were a touch younger than you, but and me too. But they sat and listened, and they were blown away.
Oh.
And I know that later on that night, the one of the guys from Arbutus Roots, Ryan King, had forgotten the CD, so he came by the next night to grab them after our show. And I said, well, what'd you think about last night? Wasn't that great? He says, think about it. He said, I was just at a private party, and that was the only thing they were talking about. So what we were able to do that night was to take your style of music and your sort of roots-based...
I like roots-based.
Yeah.
You can go right there.
Style of music.
Yeah.
And introduce it to these young rockers. And they were all taken aback by it. They were not aback, but they were astonished. You opened the eyes. And to me, that was one of the most beautiful things that happened in a long time. I mean, it was my fondest dream come true.
Oh.
How much the youth you affected, how much you turned them on to a new style of music.
Yeah.
New to them. New
Yeah,
to them.
well, sure, right? Yeah. And I've had a lot of discussions lately online, whether I'm doing like a workshop or something like that. People are online a lot talking about that and finding your musical voice and finding, what feels like you. And people saying, oh, well, I don't know if I'm too rock for this or I'm too country for this or I'm too whatever. And my advice, and from the people that I always looked up to, was you take all your influences and you put them together, and hopefully that makes something new that kind of represents you. And I know that when I was such age, because it was just a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah, yes.
There you go. But when I was being influenced by so many different types of music, and I was playing in a 12-piece funk band, but I was also in like a newgrass band where we played a lot of bluegrass, and I played in the jazz group at the university, and I sang opera weird stuff, and I just kind of anything that I could gravitate towards I thought would help my other music, and I love seeing that that's like even more so now. It's like that on steroids now because of stream platforms and YouTube, and people can go and just get anything they want and digest it and bring it to their musical being. It's one of the benefits of the digital generation, is that they can be affected by so many different types of music. And, they got to be in the right place, and if they're going to be young and not kind of turning their nose up at an old dude like me, that means that somebody is, hopefully pointing those young people in the right direction, or they got the right attitude somehow. And I should be the same way. I tend to try and listen to a lot of people who are younger than me, and I try and write with people who are younger than me and older than me, and it's just good to have perspective, that's all. And this is a perfect place to do it, so.
Well, we sure appreciate you coming back and doing this.
Thank you, buddy. I'm hoping to do it more.
Maybe we can make this a weekly show.
I think we could do that. And hopefully we'll get a whole bunch of people and we'll share it online, and that's it. I did one more song about home right now because I remember a long time ago I had written this song kind of for wayward musicians, but then it was used for this thing called Voices for a Grateful Nation, which was for returning vets that were coming back to Texas, and they couldn't get mental health services, and some of them would have to wait like a year or so to get, to deal with PTSD and things like that, and it was such a shame. So we were trying to raise money for them, and they asked for this song because a lot of my fans that were vets said they really dug this song, and it meant a lot to them. You never know where a song is going to take you, and it's not really yours once you put it out there in the world. It's kind of everybody's, and I like that. Patty Griffin said that about songwriting. Like, after you let a song out into the world, it's not really yours anymore. And until we start taking care of everybody we need to take care of, I like it when I get a chance to help. Anyway, that's what this is. Always like to wander, born a free man. You've been on this road since you don't know when, and you may be more lost now than you've ever been, but you will find your way home again. It was in your mind, well, to go around the world, make yourself $1, find yourself a girl. If you come back wise with empty hands, at least you'll find your shines. Oh, and some days it rains. You take all those moments, your treasures and your pain. You can put them in your pocket. You can throw them to the wind, but you will find your way home. Again. Thank you so much out there. Woo! It's weird. The only time right now that you get a lot of applause at a gig is when you're doing a Zoom meeting. But it does happen. It does happen, and it's strange because after, this is, for me and for a lot of other people, this is the longest we've ever gone in our lives without playing a gig that was a gig, And for me in particular, it's like, I think my last gig was mid-March in Austin, and we were doing like masks, and it was outside, and it was a streaming thing, and but which was weird too. My last gig that was kind of like a normal gig before that was a little bit earlier in March. But I can honestly say that since I was 16, that's probably the longest I've ever gone without a gig. And not only just being like your livelihood, it's your lifestyle. And you play music and you share that with people and it becomes a thing. That's sort of a little bit about who you are. I find myself telling a lot more jokes to my wife in hopes that she'll laugh or that maybe, and she just kind of looks at me after a while and she's like, nobody's applauding for you, huh, honey? And no, it's funny. It's great. I hope that didn't make her sound, no, it's funny. It's that Canadian humor that I'm working on, that I'm getting better at, that I love so much. And I do. I'm going to try a new song for you that's kind of new to me, but a friend of mine from Michigan wrote this song. He was the first guy that ever played me a Townes Van Zandt song or a Guy Clark song or a Blaze Foley song or anybody like that. And I used to play dobro with him, which is the guitar that kind of has a hubcap on it that I know some people know about those. Big bluegrass instrument and stuff. And we wrote a song together, and it's the only song he's ever co-written with anybody because I just nailed him down and forced him. But there's a, well, it's a lot of fun, and hopefully it'll be cool, and we'll give it a shot, try and play it. They said walk, I started running. When they said slow down, I was already gone. Too much talk, red light running. Too many times singing the same dang song. Well, I've tried playing with fire, baby, up till now. Well, I've mostly been wasting time. It's a white knuckle ride, it's a windy highway, but I'll be there at the finish line. You said talk, I started mumbling, raised my voice, I couldn't even carry the tune. Oh, my heart won't balk, though it might be bumbling. Well, my kick is stronger, and I'm running straight back to you. Well, I've tried playing with fire, been wasting time. It's a white knuckle ride. It's a windy highway. Oh, but I'll be there at the finish line. Well, this world, it'll grab you by the onions. It'll knock you down. It'll sock you square in your dreams. Oh, but I won't stop. No, I'm gonna keep it coming. No matter who or what ever tries to get between. Well, I've tried trying, playing with fire, baby, up till now. Well, I must have been wasting time. It's a white knuckle ride. It's a windy highway. Oh, but I'll be there at the finish line. Yeah, I'll be there at the finish line.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm Chris Buhalis is his name. He's a good guy from Michigan and a great writer. And we were at the Woody Guthrie Folk Festival in Okemah, Oklahoma, in the dead of summer on Woody Guthrie's birthday. In a little hotel, and he had an idea, and I said, well, let's finish it. Which is kind of a fun thing to do. When you start playing a ton of these online shows, you got to dig deep into the material because you're playing them, for a lot of the same people come back over and over again to see these shows, and it's really, really cool. And I'm really, really super glad to be on a different platform and to be, getting my stuff to the Canadian audience. I used to just come here so that I could write, my wife being from Campbell River. And even though I'd played all over Canada and all the incredible festivals from Halifax to Ottawa Blues to Vancouver folk to Calgary folk to Edmonton, I play with all these great people and stuff, but I would come up here specifically just to write, and I didn't do a lot of gigs. And, I want that to eventually change, but I got to, get things right before I do that.
By the way,
Yes, sir.
Barbara from Austin.
Oh, really?
And Susan from Houston. So I know we're reaching a lot of the Americans tonight. That's pretty cool.
Oh, I love hearing that. I bet you I know maybe some of them. I bet that maybe Susan, and Susan might be Susan from KPFT maybe. Which is
Susan Darrow?
Yep, Susan Darrow from
Yep.
KPFT. She's a DJ at one of the greatest stations. I love that station. It's a public radio station. They play all different kinds of music you could ever imagine. And one of those places that you're grateful to have in your life. As a person, you guys notice my little porch board, this guy right here. I actually had it on the wrong setting, and so it came out like a jingle for a second, but it could have been worse. It could have been we got a lot of sound. Oh yeah. That's a good one. That's like the disco one. We could do the disco if we want.
Yeah. Do the disco. Back to the funk days, yeah.
I pretty much just use the one that sounds like a porch board. I haven't been able to really get my act ready for Vegas. And actually, I really don't want to go to Vegas right now after what that mayor did. Sorry, didn't mean to get political. What is she thinking? Anyway, everybody stay safe and take care of each other and look out for not only your first responders, but everybody who's on the front line, and then all of your essential workers. I mean, this is definitely a time, I don't know about you guys, but where your garbage person and the people who bag your groceries, these are all people that mean a lot. And I think that, especially where I come from, people are starting to recognize maybe we need to take care of people like that a little bit more, and maybe look out for them a little bit more. And that's what I'm hoping that we get out of this tragedy, is that maybe there's some awareness of looking out for each other a little better.
We'll head to the new normal.
I hope so. You're right.
The last normal didn't work so well.
It did not, right? Well, and I think we have a ways to go. And I do think that, we see a lot of things, that say we're in this together, but it is true that we are kind of learning, like, if I do harm to you, that does affect me. And I think this is one of the most clear cases of that, where it's kind of undeniable that I can really harm somebody if I don't take things seriously. And so I hope, that's just my PSA for that. That reminds me of a song I wrote from my recent EP. John, I tell you what, man, I was going to do an EP for the longest time, and then I realized that EP was Latin for not enough songs. And thanks. Thank you. I appreciate that. But I did an EP, and it's called Covered Uncovered Volume 1. My last 2 records, people kind of said, Soul Slide, you're a blues guy. And then they marketed it to blues radio. I did pretty well, and I got a lot of fans, and I got to tour. And then my album right after that, Sleeping Dogs, you're an outlaw country guy. And I was like, whatever, you guys figure out how to sell it. And then I would go out and I'd play stuff, and they kind of didn't think about my old audience anymore, which I thought was weird, but they know how to push records, and I don't. Well, I'm kind of done with that, and I just kind of figure if I have people that listen to my music and I'm able to make a career out of it, then I feel very, very lucky. And I do a couple of things that, like a Patreon page, and then I put out songs, and I don't worry about what bin it's going to go in the store. And it's really kind of liberating, because then I can just think, wow, I'll just put some music out there and see what people like, and maybe they like the solo acoustic stuff, so I'll tour that for a while. Maybe they like the big band stuff where I'm rocking out on my slide, and maybe I'll do that for a while. It's really liberating. So I did this EP called Covered and Uncovered, and it's 2 covers and 2 originals. One of the originals I wrote kind of in response to the income inequality gap in the U.S., and how people are taught about externalities in business school, that you're supposed to ignore things if they affect the bottom line. And I thought that was so tragic, and what a horrible thing to think of, that people, human beings, were just like numbers. And I really don't like that attitude. So I wanted to redefine the bottom line, and I wrote a song with a couple of friends, and this is it. Do that one more time. I'm going to try something. Sadie lives alone down off Market Street, in a tent behind the Lord and Taylor store. Gets her food where she can find it. She fell 1 paycheck behind, and she can't pull up her bootstraps anymore. Benny drives a rideshare on the weekend, 'cause he couldn't find him anything full time. He spent 8 years overseas, fighting faceless enemies. Oh, the things he has to do not to survive. And I wonder, when you were a baby, did Mother Earth make you part of her design? Was it circumstance or luck that kept you down and brought you up? But isn't it all the same, sunshine? That shows you where to draw the bottom line. All the rainy day patrons know Melissa when she's pouring coffee with a kindly smile. What with 3 kids at home, and she's raising them alone, working every tip to buy them school supplies. And I wonder, when you were a baby, did Mother Earth make you part of her design? Was it circumstance or luck that kept you down and brought you up? But isn't it all the same, sunshine? That shows you where to draw the bottom line. Last night, thought I heard a whisper, like a long lost friend of mine. The voice rang clear and true. There's only so much we can do. Just keep your eyes upon the bottom line. And I wonder, when you were a baby, did Mother Earth make you part of her design? Was it circumstance or luck that kept you down and brought you up? But isn't it all the same, sunshine? Oh, I hope one day you'll see the bottom line. Thank you so much, and I do hope we try to look out for each other more. Tim, would you care if I stood up? Oh, good. I feel a little awkward sitting, like I need to earn my keep a little bit more. If that's all right with everybody. Patience is a virtue. I don't know if anybody out there in YouTube land knows this, but I'm going to let you in on something. First of all, it's that touch of unprofessionalism that I'm told makes me so lovable. But people don't know that the sound person is the unsung hero of every show, and that usually what will happen, especially in clubs like Austin, and I'm sure you've had this happen too, the first band will be 2 ukuleles and a bass, and then the next band will be a Grateful Dead cover band with 12 pieces, and then the next band, there'll be like some guy like me who gets on and looks down at his stuff that's not working, goes, I don't know, man, it worked last night. You know what I'm talking about. And they handle it with patience and class, and it's part of the gig. And they are your unsung heroes. So if you're in the chat room right now and you're talking, you should say, thank you for making it sound so nice. When I'm doing a regular gig, usually what I say is it's not out of the realm of possibilities to tip a sound person. You can do it. And most of the time when I say that, I say, you know, if it sounds really good in here tonight, you should tip your sound person. And I've never just understood why anybody was mean to the person that like had their life in their hands, you know. But thank you for the good sound and rolling with me. I'm gonna do another song that means a lot to me that I wrote. It was inspired by a guy named Lin-Manuel Miranda, and I'm not a big musical theater guy, but I'm pretty sure when everybody sees me walk on stage for the first time, the first thing they think when I walk on stage is, I'll bet that guy's really into musical theater. Maybe not. Maybe not. But he gave a speech after the Pulse nightclub shooting, which was an awful tragedy, and I know that here in Canada we have suffered we now have suffered the worst shooting tragedy in Canada's history. After the Pulse nightclub shooting, there was a thing called the Tony Awards that I wouldn't necessarily have been watching. I'm not against it or anything. I'm just I'm kind of more of a Singing in the Rain kind of guy, you know, that era of musical theater. And Lin-Manuel Miranda gave this beautiful speech, and at the end of it, he just said this thing that all the old hippies used to say when I was a kid. And I'm talking about real hippies. I'm not talking about Trustafarians. I'm talking about like real. Thanks for knowing what that joke means. John knows what I'm talking about. And so they used to say this when I was a kid, and they brought it back. And I was like, you know, in 2018 when I wrote the song, it's sad that we have to say it at all. But if we do, we could put it in a song, and we could sing it together, and I would just not try and change anybody's mind, but for those of us who feel the same way about it, this thing that seems like common sense to me, well, it would just make us all feel a little bit better. And so that's what this is about. And if you're on the YouTubes, which apparently you are right now, when you're all done, you can go see the video for this. It's really beautiful, and made me really proud. Jimmy fell hard for Jenny. Jamie fell in love with Jay. You can't choose with whom you fall. I think it's better that way. Could be a chemical thing, maybe cosmic and such. Try as you might to clearly define, well, you won't come back with much. Love is love, is love. Love is love, is love. People try to change love. They give conditions and rules. They try to tell you that they know better well. Tell you your love ain't cool. Love don't mind your religion. Love don't know about race. Love don't care where you may come from. Love doesn't need to explain. Love is love, is love. Love is love, is love. Just a little bit weird here, everybody out there. one song on one album, and then you have to bring it out every night for the rest of your life. We are born knowing love, have to be taught how to hate. Let go of all your preconceived notions. Well, you only need to relate. Come take a seat at the table, break some bread, make a new friend. In time you'll find forgiveness and kindness is all you ever needed. Love is love, is love, is love. Love is love, is love, is love. Love is love, is love, is love. Love is love, is love. Thank you so much. And it is. I promise. It really, really is. You can insert your own tuning joke here if you like. You can always tell a seasoned professional. I know John knows this because they always have a really great tuning joke fixed, just ready to go in there the second that they have to start tuning their guitar. And then there's me. But my dog Alice, when I'm at home, she's particularly fond of the melodica, which my wife likes to call the face piano. And you like that term too? I've also heard it called the breathalyzer keyboard, which I also think is funny. There's a couple more, but I like all those. So Alice, we have two dogs, two rescues, and one of them loves to howl. And she just goes right into it. And so every home video or live stream when Alice is there, she just takes over. And I actually missed her as part of the chorus for this for now, and I don't know what I'm going to do. People are like, take her on the road. I'm like, no, not a good life for a dog. And I like my short stints on the road, too. I go out for a little bit, I come back, my wife goes, oh, I missed you. And then after a couple of weeks, she'll go, when are you going on the road again? You know, right? It's one of the reasons I think that it works. It's so great. I am a very lucky cat. But that brings me to The Dogs, which is the title of my my last album. My last full-length album was called Sleeping Dogs. And I'm going to move this a little to the right. I wrote it. My wife and I were driving back from Ucluelet. And I got this little song in my head, this old Toots and the Maytals song. This boom, 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 boom. I heard this song in my head, and I'm driving the truck. It's my wife's truck. My wife's a gardener. And I'm driving my wife's truck, and I said, honey, can we pull over? And she said, why? And I was like, I got a song in my head. She goes, oh, yeah, of course. So we pull over, and it's like kind of rainy, and I can see through the mist, you know, and it's like really beautiful, maybe halfway home. And on a road that I'd only been on a couple of times, I started writing about sleeping dogs and how I want to let the sleeping dogs lie. And I started writing verses about all these things that I'm really bad at. And my hope was that if I just pounded it into my head for a couple of tours, then maybe I'd get better at some of these things, like every verse, you know. Well, it's been about 2 years now, and it didn't really work out the way I thought it would. But The good news is that people come up to me and they say, "Man, I love singing along with that song. It makes me feel better." And what a better thing than, I mean, I'm kind of an old cat, so I can't change too much my habits. But people say, "Yeah, I feel better when I sing along with that song." And that's about the coolest thing I could ask for. And they played this a ton in Austin, and hopefully someday they'll play this in some of my songs up here too. Let's see if we can do it. Used to worry about everything, what you thought, what you think. Now I know I do what's right. I let the sleeping dogs lie. Every time I fall down, I once again feel the cold ground. Get up, believe it, and I go on trying. I let the sleeping dogs lie. So I let the sleeping dogs lie. Once you had me in your claws, never knew what was the cause, but I let go, I ceased to fight, and let the sleeping dogs lie. You say something's behind my back, well, I'm not so concerned with that. Your problem has never been mine. I let the sleeping dogs lie. So I let the sleeping dogs lie. So I let the sleeping dogs lie. To look for someone to blame. That's exactly when I lost the game. No more tears come from my eyes. I let the sleeping dogs lie. I see you clearly coming through the mist. Where to finally be done with this? The illusion of power, it fades with time if you let the sleeping dogs lie. So I 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 let the sleeping dogs lie. She has a heart so true and kind, but what I love is a beautiful mind. All them troubles we can leave behind, and let the sleeping dogs lie. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes. Smattering. I know what a smattering sounds like. All right. No, it's super fun to come and do this. And if you haven't already donated to the Duncan Showroom, it would warm my cold black heart if you did. It really, really would, because I got a lot of love for this place and for John, and it would mean a lot to me if you have it. And if you don't right now, I understand that too. I'm kind of from the thought that anybody who spends their hard-earned money to come support a venue or support a musician, I try not to take that for granted. I try to be really, really grateful for that, because I get to make my living playing music, and I feel very lucky. So,
Well, personally, I'd really like to thank you, because you seem to understand all that we've put into this. I mean, we're out in the middle of we're out there. We're out in the outbacks, right?
yeah.
We're in a town with a population of 5,000, 73,000 in the surrounding area. We don't serve alcohol. It's all about the music. It's very hard to stay open and believe in what you're doing. So when someone like you comes along, who's played many venues throughout North America, and in all different styles and all different situations, comes in and actually gets it, it made us feel like we can continue. And so we really appreciate the fact that you've come back. Well, first of all, I'm really glad that you're fine in Canada.
Oh yeah, me too. Me too. Not just to be around family, but there's a pervasive. People seem to be taking it very seriously, everything that's going on here, and despite whatever, or in whatever political whatever you are, and all that kind of stuff, people are taking it very seriously, and that means a lot to me. And I think that's a shining example of people being adults about something. It's good.
And something I also want to mention is that we this show will be archived, as was the one that you did before. So anyone who wants to go in and punch in on YouTube, Duncan Showroom, Jeff Plankenhorn, they will find his previous show as well. As a matter of fact, I think there's over 2,000 shows that we've broadcast. We broadcast almost every day when we're open, because we're open every day. We take on as many acts as we can, because we believe people should have the opportunity to hear as much music as they can, that healing agent, that wonderful thing called music. And I forgot where I was going with that.
Well, there's so much online that they can go check out.
There is. That's
from
the
the
other part. Is
shows. Yeah.
It really is amazing what we've pulled off. And to that point, some people call him Tim. Other people call him Ted Cadillac. We call him Dr. Ted Cadillac on sound.
Ooh, I like that.
Hashtag not
like
necessarily
that.
a doctor. But he is the guy who's like not only doing your sound, but he's also doing the camera work, and he's also doing the lights, and he's doing a whole bunch of other things. And the sound that's going out is different than the sound in the room. There's a whole bunch of things he does. He's a blessing that came to the showroom. He's been here 5 years now, and we've just been having the time of our life. So thanks you for coming and gracing our stage, Jeff. I just got to tell you how much it means to us.
Oh, it means a lot to me, too. And I know we're kind of on the maybe hour show, but if there's nobody after me, do you mind if I play a couple more?
Well, we'll just see if we get the, the sound of one hand clapping.
Yeah, do we have anybody online still watching?
Yes, we do. Many people are watching, but if they all send a clap, we can always say that we can use that for an encore.
I'm more than happy to play a tune or two more if we're still raising,
Yes.
the funds, and there's some people on there that want to listen to it. Don't feel obligated to, but you could just say, play one more, play a good one, play us a good one, Plank, or something like that. I don't know. Those would be the old days. I'll play maybe a couple more, and hopefully, if this works out, then I'll be more than happy to come back next week and do it again, because it's just too much fun. Too much fun.
Sure is.
And I got a lot more songs to share with you guys. I'm an old guy. Maybe, I don't know, maybe. Old soul. All right, let's play a little bit, and this is from an album of mine called Soul Slide. And, well, here you go. Louisiana is my home. I drink my whiskey all alone. Temptation got me on the run, but mama's son don't hurt no one. Don't want no trouble. Don't want no trouble, but trouble find me. Trouble find me when nothing going right, and no hope is left inside. I should be praying to the Lord. Don't wanna bother him tonight. Oh, and I don't want no trouble, no. Don't want no trouble. Yeah, but trouble find me. Trouble find me. Well, I wish I could move on. Redemption too far gone. Now I'm left with an empty bottle in an aching head. You don't ever wanna be where I've been or will be. It's when I'm down, and I'm always down. It's trouble find me. I can't take it no more. All this knocking on my door. Nothing's on the other side, but still I'm always open wide. Oh, and I don't want no trouble, no. Don't want no trouble. Yeah, but trouble find me. Trouble find me. Come on, trouble find me. Trouble find me. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Duncan Showroom. I'm not going to do the thing where I walk off, because that would be weird. Yeah, you'd just be like, I got one more. Here it is. So in Austin, Texas, whenever I'm there, we do this thing called the Purgatory Players. I swear, that's really what it's called. I'm going to do this too because I know this is one of Susan's favorite songs. And she's still watching and she'll dig it. And what we do is we get together on Sunday mornings and we play whatever we think is gospel music that week. One person will play like a Staple Singers tune. One person will play like a Neil Young tune. One person will play a Bob Dylan tune and a Bill Monroe tune. And then it's whatever we think is gospel that week, you know. And it's really cool. We raise money for the food bank, the local food bank in Texas. And we all feel really good about doing that because musicians can't give a lot back, you know, unless they're big stars. This is one way that we can give back. And the coolest thing happened one day. Some people walked in and they said, wow, they sound really good in there. What kind of music do they play? And I kid you not, the kid behind the bar goes, oh, they play spiritual music for non-denominational folks. Which I was just like, yeah, that's the coolest thing I ever heard. That's perfect. That's exactly what we want. We want everybody welcome when they come in. So I wrote this song with my friend Scrappy Jed Newcomb. It's just sort of that Unitarian, Universalist kind of vibe of a gospel tune, if there is such a thing. And just imagine that it's Sunday morning, and there's a bunch of people hooting and hollering and clapping. I'm talking about that kind of gospel. I'm talking about like in the field kind of gospel. There's a tent and all that kind of jazz. Not talking like, the other kind, but nothing wrong with that either. I'm just saying. Well, good morning, good people. I know you got troubles. You think you can outrun your fate. Don't be so sure, take another look. Maybe it's not too late. Now listen, I was beat down, I was so tired, I was longing for the cleaner slate. I was out to know which way to go. Could be the narrow and the straight. Maybe too late, maybe too late. Well, you've only got one life to contemplate. Maybe it's not too late. Yeah. Now if you're circling the main or you're idling the drain, those are temporary states. Lay one foot down in front of the other, no need to hesitate. Now if you want to get out of your own way, lend your hand, don't discriminate. Free your mind from the bondage of self, and maybe it's not too late. Maybe too late. Oh, maybe too late. Lay your burden by the river. It's been such a heavy weight. Maybe it's not too late. This is kind of a new song, and so every time I play this new song, I get this other song kind of stuck in my head, and like, I don't want to like steal somebody else's song, and like, but then I go out and I play and I start getting this thing in my head, and it kind of sounds like something, but I don't think that really goes, along with the gospel feel that I'm going for this song. It's a little different because, like, you don't want to get up on Sunday morning and have everybody be clapping along together and be like, how? No, that's a bad idea. You don't want to do that. I mean, you could probably get away with, like, all right, that's enough of that anyway. At the end of this song, everybody gets together and they start clapping and they start singing, but I'm going to try and do all the harmonies by myself. Hopefully some of you in the interweb world will sing along with me. But I promise it'll make you feel better. Here comes the last verse. Well, it's true sometimes that the second chance has left you stalled at the gate. This too shall pass, give it some gas. Maybe it's not too late. Now when you think it, it's just stinking, and it's hard to even concentrate. Baby, let go, maybe you'll know that maybe it's not too late. Maybe too late, oh, maybe too late. Maybe too late, too late, too late. Maybe then everybody starts going, maybe too late, maybe too late, maybe it's not too late, just like that. Maybe too late, maybe too late, maybe it's not too late. And then the ladies go up high like, maybe too late, maybe too late, maybe it's not too late. And the men who want to show off go like, maybe too late, maybe too late, maybe it's not too late. Now children, maybe too late. Oh, maybe it's not too late. Yeah, maybe too late, maybe too late, maybe it's not too late. Thank you, Duncan Showroom. And amen. It's been my sincere pleasure to come and play for you folks. What do you think, John? How you doing?
Well, I was singing along.
You were? Oh,
I
bless you,
was.
man. Thank you so much.
I had that low one, and then I tried the high one, but I went back to
The
low
high
one.
one was a little funky, huh? You had to maybe too late. You did, and it sounded beautiful.
Hey, next week would you do longer than an hour as well?
Oh, sure. What would you?
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. I love breaking the boundaries.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I don't know if anybody can actually see it from where I'm sitting, but one of the things that you really liked about here, and I really liked it too, is I finally was able to get all my ducks in a row. And if you sort of look over my shoulder, I'm not sure if you can see up there. No, possibly not. Well, we'll set it up next week so you can't see it. There's, I have 78 silver-plated brass ducks. They're duck banks.
That was like one of the first things you said when I walked in, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get along fine in here." He said he has ducks in a row, and then he pointed, and I went, "Oh yeah, we're gonna be fine."
Anyway, thanks. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe next week we'll bring a few things on stage with you, and we can show off some of the
Oh, please do, so
the
people
little
can get
story that goes with it. you know?
Yeah, well, and the character of this place is this
Oh, there's the
venue.
ducks. There they are. Tim's got them.
He got the ducks in a row.
Yeah. Oh, there's a delay. There. I
Oh,
go.
there's a bit of a delay on it. Yeah, yeah, I would love that. And for sure we'll do that.
This is fun, Jeff. I really enjoy it.
Thank you so much. It's really, really fun for me too, and it's a great opportunity to come and help out a venue I dearly love. So,
And I love your storytelling, boy. It's
Oh,
some of the
thanks, man.
finest.
Thanks.
Okay,
All right.
till next week at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
What's your next show coming up here?
Oh, our next show.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow night we have Chris Andres
Okay, good.
is actually going to make it. He's coming down tomorrow.
There
Right,
you
yeah.
go.
Outlaw
Someone who
Country.
really is outlaw country.
Friday is Quinn with one N as a violin player, young violin player. It's his CD release as opposed to the EP release. I love that one, by the way.
Yeah, thank you very
The
much.
translation.
Try to finish.
And then on the best one for us this week is that young boy Malachi, 11 years old,
I'm
and
so
coming to
excited
do
about that. 11 years
another
old.
7 songs. He just can't. He loves it. He says, "You guys all stay away." And he comes. He's got his gloves on and everything.
Yeah.
He doesn't take them off until
Yeah.
he's. Oh, it's wonderful to watch him. But I
Well,
think you met him last time.
I think so too. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Just the breadth of the amount of music that you said for this online streaming thing that you're doing right now. I mean, if you can times that by 30, and then by how many people play here, there's so many different kinds of music and so many different ages. And for me, that just means the world, because you're open to any music as long as it's good music. Works.
Well, as we like to tell the kids, they got to all get their 10,000 hours in, right? And you know
Oh,
what? I
yeah.
found I threw that out a few times, and then they come back to me a couple years later and tell me, yeah, that stuck with me, right? And all the little things that you do, you don't really think that it works, but when they come back and thank you, we have a lot of kids that are into musical theater.
Yep.
That started out here, coming in instead of playing video games. His mom bought him a guitar and some guitar lessons. So I remember him coming here, and he was just scared to be on the stage the first time. But we just encouraged him, and he got up there, and now he's just having so much fun at musical theater. It's like he's the new Dick Van Dyke.
Well, to have a place like this where somebody has a chance, like for me, singing in church choir and then playing guitar and then getting into things kind of kept me literally off the streets, And I had a place to go where I could grow with a little bit of moral fiber, and hopefully, get my act together. And it really, really, really did save my life a couple of times as a kid. And I'm really, really grateful for that, and I bet a lot of these kids are, because you don't know where they're going to go with it,
Well, I do know one thing, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
Is when they, after they played here and then they go out into the world to start playing at other places, they always come back here going, wow.
Oh, yeah.
You guys babied us.
Yeah, right?
Because we do have the attention to detail. It's a wonderful thing that's been going on here. And so when you let them know that this is what they should be expecting, then they go out into the world expecting that and making sure that other venues will start going to that, right?
Yeah.
So we're planting a seed the whole time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for everything you're doing. And I'll see you guys next week. Thank you, everybody online. Go check out my stuff, too, here and on the things. I'm on all the things you need to look at. They're there.
Dr. Ted Cadillac is actually going to post how you can donate if you want.
Yes, please take care of this venue and keep the lights on, as they say.
And thank you, Susan and Barbara, for your donations. We appreciate that.
Fantastic. We good to go? Can I move?
Oye, ¿pa' qué suena? Number one de la calle, camina pa' acá, prenda. Oye, mi morena, let me see you wine, number one on the scene.